Hello and welcome to this episode of Bullet Points. Join with me is our resident gun nerd, Gina.
Howdy.
And we're here to talk to you today about one of our favorite products that's newer here, but that you've probably never heard of. It's from a company called SCT. They've been an OEM manufacturer for a long time, but they just came out with their own product, and that is these Glock compatible frames. So Gina's going to give us a little bit of a rundown on these.
Yeah, SCT is an amazing OEM producer, which they take these standard Glock Gen 3 19s and 17s and turn them into something that looks exactly like this. And SCT is hands down one of the best aftermarket Glock competitors that I've ever seen that comes from the Gen 3 market. They've got beautiful looks to them, and wonderfully on our site, we've got lots of different compatibility things with them because they're Gen 3. Not only just being Gen 3, but they're also super comfortable, and they're not having those drawbacks of some of the older style Gen 3 Glocks. You're also going to be running into that they're serialized, so they pick them up from an FFL, and you slap on whatever slide you want onto them, and bada bing, bada boom, you're ready to go. And that's one of the best parts about the firearm market that I know of. It's not just going to a gun shop and picking out something, but picking out your flavor and making exactly that gun yours, because that's a big thing for Gen 3 allows us to do.
Well, and I look at Gen 3 as the handgun version of the AR-15.
Yeah.
The AR-15 is a platform, and you got a billion interchangeable parts. With the AR-15, you have a lot of interchangeable calibers, stuff like that. You can make that gun uniquely your own for a price point from, I've seen them for as cheap as $400 to multiple thousands of dollars. And there's so many parts that you can swap out and they're interchangeable. And that's what Glock Gen 3 brings to the table, is it creates a platform that has thousands of interchangeable parts that you can swap things around, upgrade your barrel, upgrade your slide. You might have one of these and you could just take your parts and put them on this frame just because you like the feel of it better. I personally like the feel of it better than these Glock OEMs. But it's a phenomenal platform to build from, to work with, and and it's super fun. So bullet point number 2 on these is these come in a variety of colors. Obviously, black's the most popular, but we do have a variety of colors. FDE is here. We've carried gray. Colors are constantly changing, so definitely check out the website and see what colors are available if you're into that.
Bullet point number 3, the Picatinny rail section of these SCTs. One of my favorite things about the 1913 Picatinny rail is the compatibility that it has. On a lot of OEM Glock Gen 3s, you're going to have this single point here, where most companies do produce flashlights and different styles like that do fit on there, but you also get that awkward gap sometimes. And SCT with the full Picatinny rail section gets rid of that gap for you. So you don't have those issues where you may have a setup like this, which doesn't come with a Glock adapter, and now here you are sitting with a nice flush looking for your Picatinny rail. You also have the Mantis systems that sit flush with this. You can pull it back a little bit further where you can get a little bit more accurate reading on that instead of having your laser all the way forward. Also just different lasers and different styles like that too. Plus there's a bunch of aftermarket parts that only work on 2 or 3 sections of Picatinny rails, whereas opposed to only having one, you're going to run into some issues there.
And that's one of the things, like I worked gun shows for years, and people would bring their guns up. And I like that laser. I like that light. Does that fit on my gun? HKs at the time, they didn't fit on them. Some of the Smith & Wessons, like the older Sigmas and stuff like that. And this is a universal system, and just about everything is designed to fit on the Picatinny rail.
Yeah, it's great. Bullet point number 4, moving on to the trigger. The trigger is going to be a little bit better than our standard OEM Glock triggers, but the best part about being a Gen 3 is that you have access to a huge aftermarket world of swapping out triggers. This trigger weight does range between 4 and 6 pounds when we've been testing it, and that's pretty comfortable. But I will say that the reset feels a lot better than the standard OEM Glock that we do have right here.
I like both the initial pull and the reset better than the factory Glock. It's just so crisp. It's not mushy. It's just very tactile, and you have that audible click on the reset, and you feel it, but it's not too much. Like it's for the price point, like again, price point on these can change if you're watching this video in the future. But currently these are sub $100. I think it's the nicest trigger for the money.
I think it's great too, and especially since those come installed from the factory from SCT. And that's one of the best parts about these deals that we have going on right now. It's a full, complete lower.
Just like this.
Just like that out of the box. and you get to pick it up from your FFL and bring it back home with you, and you can slap on your slide, and you're rocking and rolling with exactly what you want. One of my favorite parts, though, too, is the grip texture on this handgun. But it's super aggressive right from the factory, and it's very comfortable to hold in your hand and to have that texture. And that's really useful, especially if you're out shooting and it's raining, if you're sweating, if you've got different gloves types on, different styles like that. You really get that nice, firm grip, and you can control that. So it's not just helping you keep hold of the gun, but also helping with your recoil control, also helping when you go to draw or when you go to practice your competition shooting. Those comfortable things for your hand, it's that muscle memory that you're building, which way outdoes the OEM style.
And it's not all over the place, so they have it in like just the right places for like finger reference and stuff like that. It is one of the most comfortable ones that are out there. I really like it. It's one of those things you don't really pay attention to until you feel one that's either awful or awesome. And this one hits the awesome scale for me.
And one of my favorite parts about the SCT frames is that they're matching that Glock grip angle, which a lot of the aftermarket Glock compatible style handguns and different styles like that are going for more 1911 or maybe a SIG style, where this SCT frame is more of that Glock grip angle, which as a Glock shooter, and I have been for the last 6 years, that's one of my favorite angles to shoot at. Once you get comfortable with something, it's great to be able to transition to a nicer product while not losing that muscle memory and those skills with those specific handguns you got. The best part about this, though, is the magwell. The SCT magwell just pulls this whole gun together, and it brings together a really comfortable package that gives you that pinky extender.
Show the difference here.
Yeah, there's that there for you. And also helps with those reloads. And when you're pick up a gun like this and you're feeling it like that, it definitely makes you feel like your gun that you designed, that's built for you.
And for me, I have larger hands, so if you're running the compact frame like the 19, it just kind of gives you that extra, if you can see, my pinky just sits right on top of that, and otherwise it'd just be off. Like, that magwell is great. It is proprietary, so you can't use other magwells that are designed for OEM Glocks or the Palmer 80s or whatever. This comes from SCT. They're super inexpensive. It is a polymer magwell. It snaps right in. Super, super easy to install. Literally took me like 15 seconds from opening the package to being on the gun.
Yeah.
And you forgot to hit the most important thing about the magwell.
It's super cheap.
It looks cool.
It looks cool.
It does look cool. It'll make you look cooler than your friends who don't have magwells. And you can talk down on them. Which is always
it's a key part to being a firearm owner in the United States. It's very important to out Gucci your friends.
Yes.
Definitely not the training or anything like that. Yeah.
It's all about spends more time in your safe than it does, on the range. So it's all about looking cool in the safe. It'll make your other guns jealous. So thank you for joining us today. Because of YouTube's restrictions, we can't link up to these below, but we have a link that you can fill out a form and we'll send you an email about these SCT frames. So definitely do that. We also have giveaways going all the time. You can check out the link down below to check out our rolling giveaway. It gets updated monthly, so definitely check that out. Definitely like, subscribe, follow us on the social medias. We're on Instagram, Facebook, X, it's now called, Pinterest, for those of you that pin out there. And subscribe to our email list. We're dropping new specials every day, so definitely check us out. Thank you for your time, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Bolt Points.